Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. Today I got a few DC updates for you. Some exciting news for the Suicide Squad. Not so exciting news for the Batman, but also some incredible news from Zack Snyder himself that could allude to a future in DC over on HBO Max. Now, before I get into that, of course, I want to thank my members of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Thank you so much to my newest member, Compton170S. Thank you so much for joining the member of Ping Pong Flix Show, and thank you to everyone on this list for joining in. I hope you enjoyed the exclusive access video so far in the exclusive access folder. Thank you very much. Now, on with the show. The first thing I have for you is there is a recent test screening that described the Suicide Squad as James Gunn's masterpiece. Who am I talking about? Daniel RPK, an ex-scooper in Hollywood, had said this. People who saw the Suicide Squad described it as James Gunn's masterpiece. That's incredible. I'm very excited to hear that. But once again, this is a test screening. As David Sandberg had told us, I think it was last year, in a video on YouTube, how test screening works. Basically, at different test screenings, they try out certain aspects of the film. And if certain aspects don't really vibe with the audience, they will either remove it or try something new or add something in if something relates or actually affects the audiences better. Now, that is what the test screening was before. And I'm wondering, for James Gunn, that's the same way they're going to do it? Has that changed at all? As James Gunn has said, they're pretty much letting him do whatever he wants. So if that's the case, and it's a truly director-driven film at this point, then this probably bodes well for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad fans right now. It could really be a masterpiece. That's not all, though. Grace Randolph has also heard the exact same thing, that the test screenings did happen. But she added a little bit to it. Today's tea, Taika Waititi has a cameo in the Suicide Squad. She won't spoil who, but I do have a spoiler section just for this, so stay tuned. Jason Momoa is in talks for the Witcher prequel, but only if filming doesn't conflict with Aquaman 2. I know that has nothing to do with the Suicide Squad, but she threw that in there, and I thought it was interesting. That only shows me that Jason Momoa is putting Aquaman 2 ahead of The Witcher, meaning that he has priority for Aquaman 2. I mean, of course, because that was like over $1 billion film, and he was a huge star for that, over him joining the Witcher prequel. I'm sure he really does want to join Henry Cavill, and it'd be cool to see Superman and Aquaman in the same series. But this is a DC channel, so I'm more excited to see Aquaman 2, and it's great to hear that he's putting that priority over The Witcher 2. Now, the next thing I'm talking about are spoilers. This is going to be the spoilers section for the Suicide Squad. There's 2 spoilers in here that Grace Randolph, she pretty much puts it on Twitter, but just in case you don't follow her very much or actually look at a lot of her comments on Twitter, I'm going to make sure and put this as a spoilers for the Suicide Squad. I may have inadvertently actually told you one of these spoilers before in a previous video, but yeah, I'll just make sure for this one. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers for the Suicide Squad, please click onto the next chapter, which says Wonder Woman 1984. But if you're still here, then this is the spoilers for the Suicide Squad. Grace Randolph confirms that Taika Waititi isn't King Shark, that's Steve Agee. But since we are guessing, and since she's been hearing that they tested the Suicide Squad this morning, and it has been reported, Taika Waititi is the original rat catcher. There are 2 rat catchers. The first rat catcher is played by Taika Waititi. The second rat catcher is played by the female Daniela Melchior. Now, that is a story element that is probably spoilers for you if you haven't heard already, that maybe something happens with the original rat catcher. Either he's dead or imprisoned, and the daughter either has to avenge him or actually free him from prison. Or maybe she doesn't even care, but she is definitely a second rat catcher for that. The other big thing is that Starro is apparently confirmed to be a big part of the movie. Now, she said this was already out of the bag, which is true. We've actually seen it in the behind the scenes look in one of my videos talking about the details of that Suicide Squad behind the scenes trailer. You do get a glimpse, like a little small glimpse of Starro, and it's like planted on some faces on the corpses on the ground. So that is also a big part of the movie. Like I said, if you didn't want to know this, hopefully you're not still here. But these are the spoilers for the Suicide Squad. Now, next up is in terms of Wonder Woman 1984. Apparently, Wonder Woman 1984 will still release in theaters. Now, this is an article from Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, and Discussing Film had pulled it out. Warner Brothers CEO Ann Sarnoff rules out the possibility of Wonder Woman 1984 going to PVOD or streaming. Certain movies deserve to be on the big screen. My belief is Wonder Woman 1984 is one of those. And this is in regards to a giant article in terms you're talking about how HBO Max is still intending to go to Roku and Amazon Fire devices. They're still working on that. They're also still working on it getting international as well, as we already know. But they also talk about Tenet and how Tenet works in theaters, how Mulan went to streaming or VOD and in theaters and international. But for Wonder Woman 1984, she's pretty adamant that this movie will definitely go to theaters, right? And I would love it to go into theaters. I think if I had the chance, but not in this climate, especially where I am, I can't watch it in theaters. I can't even watch it, a Tenet in theaters. So for me and my own personal reasons, I would love to watch this on PVOD or streaming as it comes out, unless by the time it comes out, which is next month, I may be able to go and watch it in theaters. But we'll have to wait and see what their decisions are. They may delay it again because it's literally next month. They're trying to make the biggest bang out of her buck for this movie. And of course, they should, because it is a giant tentpole film, Wonder Woman 1984, a big DC property, the next one to come out in theaters. And so I would love to see, like I said, I prefer right now, if it were to come out and I don't have a theater open, I would love to see it on PVOD or streaming, but my preferred choice to watch this for the first time would definitely be in theaters with a giant bowl of popcorn, a giant drink, and then watching in a dark theater in the air condition with a surround sound. Of course, I would love that way more than actually having to watch it for the first time on a small little TV screen. I mean, I have a pretty big TV screen, so I'm not really having an issue with that. But that's not the case. For a lot of people would love to watch it in theaters. Now, the next topic is somewhat frustrating, all right? So we saw the DC fandom trailer of Matt Reeves' The Batman. It was awesome. We got to see Robert Pattinson as the Batman for the first time. We saw Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. We heard the Riddler's voice, which was amazing. We heard Andy Serkis as Alfred. He was amazing. And also Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. Spot on. Colin Farrell disappearing into his Penguin role. Amazing. And we were so excited for this trailer that we were so excited to see what they could do more with it. With Matt Reeves saying that was only 25% of the actual movie. Amazing, right? So we couldn't wait for them to resume shooting. And they did. A few days ago, they actually resumed filming. And a lot of those people, the cast and crew, were superbly, really excited to start shooting. Until today. Today, unfortunately, Deadline has reported that The Batman pauses production after a crew member tests positive for COVID-19 just 3 days into shooting. How unfortunate. They were delayed because of COVID before. They're going to delay again. This is not looking good for the Batman right now, right? And so you're like, okay, well, I was thinking, okay, it's fine. Maybe it's just one of the crew members, a lighting guy, someone who didn't wear a mask or something, or unfortunately contracted from someone. Okay, maybe they can work around that. It's fine. Well, the person who got COVID-19 was none other than Robert Pattinson himself. That's right. The Batman, the star of the show, got COVID-19. Oh, how unfortunate, really unfortunate. I hope he gets better. And apparently, his Batman was really revealing. It really did cover the wrong parts of his face. But jokes aside, I really do hope he gets better and hope they resume production. But honestly, maybe there could be workarounds. I know in the reports they're saying that this is going to cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars, which could make sense because maybe they rented locations or they had props made up just for this scene or for the shoot, this early shoot. And they couldn't do it, so they'll have to work around it, possibly making new sets or finding new locations to maybe work around that schedule, because I think Robert Pattinson probably has to go into quarantine for 2 weeks, and so maybe they'll start shooting other things in the meantime. They could shoot Colin Farrell and doing his own thing. Maybe the Batman stuntman could do the action scenes. I'm sure they're thinking about something and not just waiting for Robert Pattinson to get better. And so I'm hoping at least there could be some B-roll or some other things they could do in the meantime. But still, this is unfortunate and did cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars in this delay. So I really hope that he gets better and they start getting back to work. Now, this next topic is not necessarily a DC topic per se, but it could mean very bold, big things for DC on HBO Max. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about one of my favorite directors, probably my favorite director at this point, is Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder's animated SNYDERVERSE. Now, when I mean SNYDERVERSE, I don't mean the SNYDERVERSE in terms of DC. I mean SNYDERVERSE in terms of Army of the Dead. That's right. This is coming from Variety. Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead gets prequel film anime series at Netflix. So Army of the Dead world is getting bigger and expanding on Netflix. Zack Snyder had this to say: I'm incredibly excited for the opportunity to partner with Netflix again as we expand the Army of the Dead universe with both an international prequel as well as exploring the visually dynamic world of animation. It's been a great collaboration, and we are thrilled that Netflix sees this as big of an IP as we do. But not only that, okay, the prequel, along with the prequel, there is going to be an anime series called Army of the Dead Las Vegas, which will chronicle the origin story of Bautista's character and trying to find the origin of the zombie outbreak. Now, Zack Snyder will direct 2 episodes of this series, and also Jay Oliva of Batman The Dark Knight Returns fame, also Justice League War, will be showrunning as well as directing 2 episodes of the series. All this, along with that Valhalla series, all coming from the Stone Quarry exclusively for Netflix. So that's amazing, especially for Army of the Dead fans or upcoming Army of the Dead fans. You'll be getting a lot more of Army of the Dead on Netflix in terms of a prequel anime series. What? That's crazy. So Zack Snyder is having his own Snyderverse over on Netflix. And then you're wondering, Chris, I thought you were talking about DC here. And you're right. This is a DC channel. But why do I think this is very incredible for DC? Well, what does Zack Snyder also have in terms of streaming services that he's distributing to? Zack Snyder's Justice League over on HBO Max. Now, you may be familiar with a video that I made, and I'll put the link up here for you to go into it. Animated Snyderverse on HBO Max. Does that sound familiar? Well, I'll bring it up for you once again. This is coming from Forbes' Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes, who's also a good friend to Jay Oliva, and they've collaborated together. This is probably where he got his information, by the way. Just letting you know. Today at Forbes, and by the way, this was on July 30th, I explained how and why HBO Max could continue the Snyderverse in animation in addition to any live action plans they have. Plus, I have an updated on some related rumors, so read on DCEU fans. Like I said, I explore this article over in that other video, so go and check it out. But to just add credence to this is that Zack Snyder is literally doing this on Netflix, right? So don't you think they also have plans to do this over on HBO Max? And I think this clearly shows that they're exactly going to be doing that. Jay Oliva really does push this, by the way. And despite the controversy for people saying that Zack Snyder, that's a compromise. That means Zack Snyder doesn't get to do his things in live action. He's only doing an animation, an anime series. No, okay. You're forgetting that line that it says right in here. In addition to any live action plans they have, this is their opportunity to explore beyond the live action plans, right? Just imagine, this is my own theories in any case, but imagine we see how Kara Zor-El came to Earth. We saw it in comic form, but imagine that in anime form or animated form, right? A prequel to Supergirl. How about a prequel to Martian Manhunter? How did Martian Manhunter get to Earth? How did he become General Swanwick? How did he do that? Was there a real General Swanwick, or did he make up that guy altogether? So let's find out about that. Oh, I don't know. We know about Green Lantern. How about we find more about Green Lantern? What about the relationship between Steppenwolf and Darkseid? How about we see a little bit of Decide? How about we see a little bit of Superman in between certain maybe miniseries, the first season and the second season of Zack Snyder's Justice League? How about the Bat Flick? And all this. In fact, the entire Bat Flick history. He's been fighting crime for over 20 years. You don't think he's seen some stuff, right? He's gone through a lot. Maybe we'll finally see how Dick Grayson dies. So there's a lot of things that we could definitely explore in the animated Snyderverse is on Netflix, which he's actually doing, and the proposed ideas that could possibly already be in place or being worked on over on HBO Max. Like I said, the rabbit hole is deep. Now, the rabbit hole is deep, and I don't think it's only in live action. As it seems to show that Mark Hughes does know a little bit more about this arena because he is definitely talking to Jay Oliva. Jay Oliva fully supports this. Probably is directing like a few episodes or a few movies or a series altogether, including Zack Snyder. You bet your butt we're going to have some animated Snyderverse over on HBO Max, and it's gonna be DC related. I am so excited to see this happen, and I love the idea of them working together again, right? They've worked together on that 75th anniversary of the Superman, that intro sequence, and they've also are going to work together on that Valhalla. They're going to work together on this Army of the Dead. I'm sure they've got some incredible plans for HBO Max, and I can't wait to be there to see it all and explore it all, expanding that Zack Snyder's Justice League into a humongous universe that cannot be accomplished just all in live action by itself. This is going to be these little addendums and these little prequels and in-betweens and things like that, spin-offs, whatnot. That's going to be amazing, and I can't wait to find out what that is. Now I'm going to end this show with a fan submission. I thought this was really cool, and this is right here. Thank you so much to Viru Mech for this little gif of a gif of a maybe a Ping Pong Flix channel intro. I don't know if I'll use it for an intro, but I thought this was really cool. You can actually see the Justice League symbols there. You can also check out this little video as well that actually shows the images forming on the hot dog, getting in the bun with the ketchup. I don't really put ketchup in my hot dog, but I'll take it. Thank you so much to Vero Mech for that little gif. That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, that is it for tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching and subscribing. Like I said, if you love this, pretty much a daily DC movie news updates and games and possibly even shows and content for HBO Max, please click the like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Keep this hot dog light on, and I'll see you next time.